Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dear Daughter. I am your host, Stephanie Robinson, and I am so excited for this beautiful winter day that we have going on. The snow is falling, and I felt like switching up the look of the pod and going back to my Canon camera. I did buy two, now I have three total of the batteries, so I think that I can make it work. And syncing up the audio will be fine. And I like this new setup for now. So this is my Christmas tree and the snow's falling and it's just a perfect start to December. So today we are going to get into discipline. We're going to get into how to not force yourself, or do you need to force yourself to do the things that you want to do to become the person you want to be? We are going to talk about the magic of the winter solstice that's coming up and all the goodness that is happening this December. So keep watching, stay tuned, keep listening. All right, so we are going to dive right into it. I am feeling this new sense of energy this December. I personally have felt almost this reset button. I think this needs to happen when we kind of go to an extreme. And Thanksgiving week and leading up to it, I've been with like my food and stuff like that, eating whatever, not having any boundaries with food, not having any restrictions, which I'm just want to say so beyond grateful for that I don't have to worry about, for like the safety of my body, that of what I put into it in terms of, I don't have any allergies or anything like that. So I'm really grateful. And cheese and bread work just fine. However, like it doesn't hurt me, but I can tell, like straight up cognitively, that there is an effect on me when I have those types of substances. And like I will eat cheese with every meal. I'm that kind of girl. And like I just notice mentally I am a little bit slower and less motivated, more tired. And I think this time of year, I am typically a 5 a.m. girly, and I am not right now. I'm like, I am going to be sleeping in, and I've been staying up late. I watched Dreamgirls last night, and I've watched it, 20 years ago, literally, almost. And I thought I knew the movie. I don't think I've ever actually watched that movie. And the reason why I watched that movie, little tangent, little side moment, but if this is for you, if you want to watch a documentary about Eddie Murphy. So I grew up in a household that loved Eddie Murphy. I think a lot of us did. How do you not? With Donkey, and Shrek, and Hercules, all the things. But it's his legacy and where he started and just how magical and brilliant and a trailblazer he was and is. And it was fantastic. So then I forgot and didn't really realize he was in Dreamgirls. And if you know me, you know that I love Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, who's in Dreamgirls, obviously, like stars in it pretty much. But J Hud got the Oscar, and she should have. I don't think Beyonce is a singer and performer. Is she an actress? Yes. Is she a good actress? No. And that's okay. She's okay. You can't have it all. You can't have it all. Anyway, so I watched that, and I've been staying up a little bit later. I've been really into SNL because Amy Poehler has a podcast that came out this past year, and it's funny and it's entertaining in the best way. And I love her, and I love the guests that she has, and I love the whole like way that she does the pod. So I've been watching that, and then of course, they reference SNL. And so then I'm watching the older SNLs, and I'm going back and forth and learning about the SNL history, which, bringing it back to Eddie Murphy, started out on SNL at 19. And a big takeaway I got from the Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix, Becoming Eddie, I think, or Being Eddie, I don't really know. He said that when he was growing up and like as a little black boy in the 50s and was like, I want to be on TV. And there's like 3 black people on TV. And it was just kind of unheard of to like have that dream. And he knew in his bones from like 5 years old that he was going to be on television. And he, into his teen years, like there wasn't a shadow of a doubt that by the time he was 18, he was going to be famous. That's what he said to himself. Like he had so much belief, passion, and conviction for it. And, people would like boink on him, I don't know. They would like make fun of him because he would say he was 18 and they're like, "Oh, Eddie, you said you'd be famous by 18, you're not 18." Gets on SNL at 19. What I'm taking away from that is that like sheer undeniable belief. You know that meme, or not meme, but sound that's going around right now of Timothy Chalamet and a reporter asking them, "Well, what if it doesn't work out?" And he's like, "That doesn't even enter my consciousness. That doesn't even enter my consciousness." And like that is the energy we all need for our dreams and aspirations to come true. And I think there's something really beautiful about him having that at very young age, because the impressionability of his mind to make him believe that he's not as powerful as he actually is didn't have a chance. Didn't have a fucking chance. And like here he is, an absolute mogul, marvel, destined, brilliant man. Brilliant contributor to the entertainment industry at large. Changed everything for, it just changed it all in the best way. So we love him, and we're going to learn from that and take that sort of idea. I knew by the time I was 3 years old, that's a funny way of saying this, but I always believed that I would be a princess. And I told my mom, and I was like, "Well, you need to marry a prince to be a princess." And I was like, "Well, I got that in the bag. Don't worry. That's not a problem." So I gotta kind of come back to that conviction, because I would really like to be a princess. No, I don't know. We'll see. But like, what's my undeniable conviction for myself that is meant to be? And like hold on to that and don't let the negativity of not working out come into my consciousness. I just am not going to think about that. So, okay, we're going to get into a question that we got, which is, let me read it. Okay, dear daughter, I feel like I'm constantly swinging between discipline and burnout. I start strong, fall out of my routine, and then have to rebuild again and again. How do you get into a sustainable flow without feeling like you're forcing yourself or failing every time? Yeah, feels that so hard. Feels it so hard. And I recently have come to terms, right? I brought up the food situation, and I need some boundaries in general, in life, all the time. So food, since I can eat whatever I want without, medical issues, I need to reflect on what do I want to put in my body and what makes me feel the best. So if I'm eating cheese and bread every day, I'm feeling slow, lethargic, and not well. So like that's, even if it's not physically like an issue from an allergy perspective, it's definitely not good for me to be eating that food. So how can I shift that and have a boundary? And like, yes, I'm going to have bread sometimes at like a dinner, or some pizza and like some cheesy thing for a special event. Like I'm not going to like restrict myself for every occasion, but the majority, my day to day, I don't need to have that, every single day. And how can I be a little bit more disciplined? And I reflect on the time when I did Whole30, which was incredible. Like, first of all, just being way more mindful of everything that I ate and having to plan, because I couldn't just eat whatever I want. Even like going to get egg bites at Starbucks is still cheese, and there's no cheese in Whole30, and it's Whole Foods. Like that's just, and the restrictions are, it's like a diet that you do in order to determine what affects you, and like an anti-inflammatory, and then you slowly integrate, and then you can kind of decipher what to keep and what to not. So I'm not doing like, really intense Whole30. I'm having a little bit of rice here and there, and I'll have some beans and legumes and stuff like that, which are a big, you don't do that on Whole30. But coming back to whole foods, not having to have bread with everything that I eat. Really cutting down on dairy, and there's some fantastic alternatives, gluten-free and dairy-free, that work just fine. And so I want those sort of boundaries or fences almost, to press against, to have that sense of discipline. I just need it. And so that's kind of with everything in my life, because it's very easy to be in the spiritual space and hear people talking about, like, don't just do. You're not a human doer. You're a human being. Just be, and like let life live through you, and blah blah blah. And I, even what I'm learning about in Taoism, and this like void that we kind of live in the present moment, and being in the flow of life, which I love, and it's beautiful, and I think that's fantastic, and there's a time and place for it. But when you want to build something, when you want to have a goal that you are trying to accomplish, there needs to be a sense of discipline, planning, execution, bigger picture, in order to make that actually happen, in my opinion. And I'm just going to speak for myself, because I have been in that place of like, I'm just going to go with the flow, and then I get nothing done. So I'm personally changing that for myself, and that is like scheduling my life as much as I can. And for a really long time, I thought that I would only schedule like the work that I had to do, or errands, or appointments, all those things. But I'm also scheduling like naps and meditations and my leisure time and my walks, and like really looking at my day, because I do have a routine, whether I recognize it or not. Of course, I have my morning and night, like I do the same thing, but I'm also like taking a nap a lot at the same time every day. So like, why am I scheduling something at 1:30 when I'm probably going to take a nap for like 20 minutes, or just lay down? I need to like reset. We all do. And if you are like, oh my God, you nap, it's like, yeah, we got a nap. Especially if I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. Like, of course I'm going to take a little nap later. And I got 2 cats sleeping around me. I gotta cuddle with them. And meditate too. Like, if I don't meditate, my cat Tuna goes nuts. He's just like, hello? We have to sit and breathe. Because there's a different energy when I'm meditating with him that he really likes to drop into. I digress. So how do I get into a sustainable flow without feeling like forcing myself? Well, it starts with a little bit of force, girl. It starts with taking the reins and being like, okay, I need to have a better grasp on my life that I'm giving myself here. I'm accepting that this is the season of life that I'm in. There will be a season where I don't need to do that, and maybe do have a little bit more flow and courage, or not courage, but flow and leisure and serendipity and all of that. But right now is not the time, because it's not working, right? It's not working. So we can always shift and change and evolve, and recognize what we want requires more of our time, energy, and attention. And yes, plans sway and change, but if it's not on the calendar, like yesterday I planned my day to a T, but then there was some time where like, it was like, okay, what are you going to do? And I could sit and watch YouTube, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. And every Monday, I have a client at 9 a.m. Every Sunday, I say I'm going to go to the gym before that 9 a.m. client. Guess how many times I've gone to the gym before that 9 a.m. client, who's been my 9 a.m. client since October of 2024. Okay. Twice, maybe? 2 fucking times? So I'm not going to go to the gym. So if I'm not going to go to the gym on Monday morning, then I'm going to go Monday night. And it's just like, instead of being like, oh, well, I'm going to plan this, so don't do it. And then it's like, I'm not planning Monday night. It's like, just go. Just accept that that's how the schedule is going to go. And after, I usually have a client in the afternoon, but after that's done, it's like, okay, just go and walk. Go and take a class. Go and do something there because you like being there. I love my gym, Cedardale. I love it. I teach there. I teach 5 classes a week starting this week. Starting to teach HIIT, HIIT, double I, high intensity interval training. It's going to be epic. It's going to be freaking epic. And a challenge. And I'm going to get a microphone, which I have to get something for that. Oh, God, I forgot. Whatever. Anyway, I'm very excited. But it's coming to terms with what we expect of ourselves and what we're actually doing. And when we think of this discipline, that it's all about things that are work related or try hard related or effortful, and like it's also like you're diligent with your naps. You're diligent with your meals. You're diligent with your meditation. You're diligent with your writing. You know, I had a block yesterday where I'm like, all right, we're doing an abundance meditation and some EFT tapping, baby. Okay, I'm going to plan my classes for this hour. Like, those are things that aren't always ROI, but they're just checking the box. Or like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym or go to the grocery store, whatever. And I like to write it down. I have this big journal. No, excuse me. I have a big calendar, and it's, you know, it's for the year, and I just write down, even if I've already done it. So I like know what I did that day. So I can check that off and just kind of review it. And then it's like, okay, what's next? And this can definitely, I've like have had resistance to this way of being because of the idea that I don't want to just do all the time. But like it gets to a point where like, okay, well, if you want to get things done and you're an entrepreneur, which I am, then like no one's going to tell you to do it. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to create a schedule. Like, you have to do it. And swallowing the pride, too. Like, you know, the failing and coming back to, you know, something that you haven't done. It's like, sometimes it feels better to not do it again because you're embarrassed that you stopped doing it, which is how I feel about the artist's way, to be honest with you, because I've tried and stopped and blah, blah, blah. I've like, haven't been able to like, I made a whole reel that I'm going to start it again and and then I didn't do it. And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about it. But like, no one else cares. And I think that's really important, that I'm the only one embarrassed and I'm the only one that cares and I'm the only one that is looking at no one even knows because they don't care. And so swallowing the pride and be like, well, I'm just going to try again, you know? I'm just going to, and because you get to reset every single day you wake up. And so it's like, when you just let go of the past and let the today be the driving factor and the focus and not even the tomorrow, like, I think you have way less pressure, you know? And I was listening to this podcast. I really love Diary of the CEO. And he has Behind the Diary, which I find is an excellent resource for any entrepreneur to, and creator, obviously, to learn what goes on for to genuinely be a very successful entrepreneur, creator, and thought leader. He really inspires me, and I think probably inspires me with this sense of discipline and effort. He was talking about Roger Federer, I believe I'm saying that correct. If I'm not, I'm sorry, who is a tennis player, best tennis player, male tennis player of all time. Yet he has missed 46% of the shots that he was meant to take or something. I don't really understand tennis. But anyway, 46% of the time he sucked. He just didn't make it. And so he talked about in this commencement speech, I believe at NYU, and that could be totally wrong, but I think it was, that his undivided attention is on that shot. That shot is everything to him. But the moment the shot is done, missed or not, it doesn't matter. It's done. He let it go. So, and let's bring in another sports reference. Tom Brady. You ask Tom Brady, what's your favorite Super Bowl? His response is, the next one. Okay? So we're looking forward. We're not looking back. We're saying, I see what I've done in the past. I've learned the things. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. And I will start again and I will move forward because the best is yet to come. I don't know it. I haven't experienced yet. And so being in that present moment. Yes, that day is so important to you and the task is so important and it's everything. But if you don't complete it or it's not the way you wanted it to go or you didn't do what you thought you were going to do, you have a new 24 hours to reset and start again. So that's what I would say to that. I'm going to pull a card too to use a little animal spirit wisdom. All of them just fell. Not all of them, but many of them. So I'm going to go pick them up. Dancing through life, skimming the surface. Okay. I saw Wicked 2 on Friday, which I thought was beautiful, but it was okay. I love them. I love all the interviews. I love all the things. So I'm happy it's here. I just didn't think it was necessarily necessary. But it was good. Okay, let's see. For the discipline, animal spirit, what are you gonna help us with? Let's see, who's gonna pop out? Ooh, nameless, dancing through life. Ooh, hi Otter and Moth. The Otter said, have fun. The Otter said, have fun with it. The Otter said, stop taking everything so seriously. The Otter said, swim around. Yeah, no, that's really enjoy your life. And, discipline is one thing. And I think we get so wrapped up in how, oh God, just perfect everything has to be. And it's this is all just a game. It's a game. It's meant to be played. And we get to have that, those different levels and go back over and over again. So let's look exactly what. So it's also a water sign. So I think of the emotional state. So how important the mind is in contribution to being able to be in that unobstructed joy and playfulness. So this says, perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the otter represents absolute bliss. Otter Energy is the playfulness of a child available to any age. They have the giddiness and reverence for life itself without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism. Imagine yourself with a little more Otter Energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The Otter card begs the question and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. Full of love, needs nothing when in balance, out of balance, gloomy, sighs, makes silly excuses. Silly excuses, silly excuses. That's the thing too. When there's a will, there's a way. When the discipline is real, when we want to be disciplined, but we make all the excuses in the world to not do what we say we're going to do, we're out of balance. We're looking for a reason not to. And it just kind of gets, I remember in my sales world, which is very masculine, but it was just like, get it done. You know, we would talk about this, that, whatever, and like, just get it done. And then that was it. You know, no drama, no this, what's going to happen? Get it done. Bringing Otter Energy into balance, dance party or celebration. I swear, something that I've been starting more often is that when I'm tired or feeling down a little bit, I just like put on a song and I dance. It makes a world of difference. It wakes me right up, or want to do something I don't really want to do, dance party. And we have to celebrate the wins. Because before I started this pod, I was reading back a journal, and it's so similar to where I am right now. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I was writing about the concepts that I had in my mind, but not necessarily embodying them and living them, in which I've learned that that's how that works now. And one of the things I wrote about, kind of coming back to this discipline situation. It's just a little blurb, but it's like, first time writing today. Instead of going through the motions and doing journaling because I have to, I'm doing it because it brings me so much relief and peace. I find that to be Otter Energy. The otter represents absolute bliss, joyful creation. So like, how can we reframe how we're looking at what we get to do rather than what we have to do as a joyful creation, as fun, a celebration of the life that we get to have, the beautiful minds and bodies that we get to have. God, I remember going into the gym and hearing someone being like, ugh, I hate working out. Like saying that to someone, I just hate it. And it's like, girl, do you know how many people that wish they could work out like you? That wish they could walk into that gym to go to Cedardale, of all places, okay? And walk in and say, I hate doing this. I feel of the utmost privilege to be able to go to Cedardale, to be able to go to a HIIT class, not even to mention to teach it. How lucky am I that my body works that way? How lucky am I to be an athlete my entire life, grow up in an athletic home, be able to do these exercises without any fear or resistance? I mean, talk about the lottery of life, like the luckiest. So that reframe is important. And then the Moth card, which I actually pulled recently for a client. The Moth Energy, impulsivity. Oh God, of course the Moth. The Moth Energy is attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This card can be led to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. Exactly what we're talking about here. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulation of this great journey. Practicing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. Wah, 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 ring the alarm. I mean, come on. Come on. The cards don't lie. You can't make this up. Okay? You can't make it up. Especially when we want to start something and it's the idea of it seems so shiny and new and amazing, the fantasy. And then the reality to execute that goal or dream or idea is, not that fun sometimes. So you got to bring the fun into it with the otter, and then being in that acceptance that there is no one exempt from the difficulties that come with becoming who you really want to be. And I wanted to bring up Cynthia Erivo. I've been having this thought lately about her because, I mean, she's everywhere. The accolades, the praise, the just discipline, brilliance, talent. She's freaking everything. And she's here, and she got here. She also had to play 480 shows of The Color Purple, sometimes 8 shows a week, as someone who was beaten down, told that they were ugly and unattractive and worthless. That was her character that she had to embody. And that's what she said she had to do. It wasn't you don't just like put the mask on, take the mask off. You really feel that way. 480 shows, sometimes 8 shows a week. To, like if without ever knowing that she was going to get wicked, right? So it's like, sometimes we have to do the really hard, rigorous, in the boots on the ground work to get to our dream role, to our dream life. Sometimes it has to be really freaking hard. We have to complete a difficult task. So when in balance, the Moth energy is enthusiastic and whimsical. Out of balance, idealizing others, jittery, just like, constantly looking for the next thing. Into balance, finish a project. Ooh, finish something. What, I just can't start over and over again the new thing, so something's always new, and that dopamine hit of starting something new doesn't always come? There's a lull that we have to go through and then come back up for this, for just life in general, and to just be bad at things sometimes and have to start over again and push through, but also find the whimsy, find the fun, find the romanticism in that otter energy. So these are both so lovely, and I'm not surprised they both came out for this question and just like the big premise of this pod today. So yeah, okay, beautiful. I love that those came through. I'm not surprised. And the deer energy is just up. I just see her right here, which is like really dropping into that feminine. And then the eagle, just the feminine and masculine dance of the two. I recently did a shamanic journey to meet the animal spirit of my lungs. What a sentence. But it was the eagle. It was the eagle. And what that eagle sort of came to me and spoke to me about was that to be observant and use my breath and my indication of the breath of my surroundings, and just that continuous flap of the wings, and that the lungs are the only external part or internal part of the body that is in tandem with the external. And so they deal with a lot of energy. And the breath is such a constant, obviously. But when we bring our awareness to it, we can really be in that like meditative state. And it is such a masculine. I feel like the lungs are very masculine, and I feel like the eagle energy is very masculine. And so just with the combination of the deer being the mother within, the feminine energy, and just like the nurturer. And so with these two, in this place, it's like that dance between the masculine and feminine is so important when we are in that place of desiring to have discipline and goals and achievements, finished projects. Yeah, there's so much that goes behind the finished product that we see from celebutants and authors and writers and, YouTube channels that are super successful and, people that are buying the house and getting married and, even that, right? The relationships that got to a point of engagement, like put in a lot of time and effort to get there. That didn't just happen overnight on Facebook. Sometimes it does, but like a lot of times it doesn't. And people buying the house, woohoo, yeah, they saved for a decade or 5 years and worked their ass off and didn't go out to eat for, who knows what they did to buy that house. So I think we see the highlight reel too much, and like the nitty gritty is just like where the magic is. The journey is all there is. The journey is all there is. So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay, beautiful. I think that's good for today. I am so beyond grateful to have shared this. I love you if you are listening to this, have listened to this. I am gearing up for a really magical week ahead before I descend to the Bahamas. I have 2 workshops. I'm doing a vendor fair. I have a lot of work in the courses that I'm in. I'm teaching 8 classes at Cedardale, which is a blessing. And I'm doing it all during my ovulation week, which is just the most magical alignment I could have asked for. So really grateful to know my cycle and what I need. And for the communities that I'm involved in, there are still spots at both of my workshops, which include Somatic Release in Burlington, Massachusetts at Roots Yoga, Somatic EFT tapping, sound healing, and breath work, and then Intuitive Paint Night at Cozy KILN in PLAISTOW, New Hampshire. We'll have 2 hours of intuition deepening and visualization, painting, connecting with other women and other people that will be there, and with ourselves and the cards that we get chosen, and just being of service to each and every one of you that shows up. So I will link those below, and have a lovely beginning of December and enjoy this snow if you are in the snow. And if you're not, Yule is still coming. 21st is going to be here. So there will be a celebration that I'm gearing up to launch this week that will involve just really commencing the darkness and being the light. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.